So let me welcome our friends and colleagues from Morocco for this very important first session of the U.S.-Morocco Strategic Dialogue.
I stay up, never sleep, case we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road, 70. I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan. Why? Cause there they go, trying to sense the process in my land. We get all the prophets in my land. God bless all the prophets in my land. Take up for my bread, for my land. Yeah, my land. Buried in hate, shine with the love. I am a god. Honor my fam, longer my days. Guy in a shot. I thought of Hail Mary, get bloody like Carrie. Die in my prime, like busting the grape, then press a rewind. Get better with time, I fall home to the fortress. Memorize all the records of the Moors, library in my conscience. Library of the Congress, lives buried by the context. 1492, talk about the Spanish when it came to conquest. In real life, playing contraband, trying to fill with the contraband. Hard life for an honest man, all night for my daughter. On a hot block with no mazepin. My land, that's express trust in the plan. You Ali, prophet the man. Who I be, count with Stevens. Yes indeed, this be my land. I stay up, never sleep, case we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road, 70. I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan. Why? Cause there they go, trying to set the process in my land. We get all the prophets in my land. God bless all the prophets in my land. Take off all my fight for my land. Yeah, my land.
It's not a city corpse. 10,000 years haven't been a corpse. Foreigners came to my land pointing guns and swinging Jesus cross. Empire, not a cityscape. 5 atomic, not shitty lakes. Continent, not Turtle Island. Noblemen, not a wild man. Home is North America, not a stranger, but the landlord. Free white people, not Negro, black, Ethiopia colored. Navigating with no water. Blacks are still getting slaughtered. Nationality, the order. Foreigners create war borders. Calling themselves governors since they can't call themselves Bay. To keep you in ignorance, they replace the E with the A. Keep you defended, always a defendant. Kill your brother over sneakers, but when the highwaymen kill you, you won't defend it.
I stay up, never sleep, case we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road, 70. I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan. Why? Cause there they go, trying to set the process in my land. We get all the prophets in my land. God bless all the prophets in my land. Take off all my fight for my land. Yeah, my land. Whoa, I stay up.
Islam.
Case we gotta go. That way. Nation deep, movies on the road.
It is a violation.
I stay up, sleep ain't in my plan.
Dignity.
Trying to set the process in my land.
Long affair. Blood.
God bless all the prophets in my land.
Name of God. True and lasting peace.
My land.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had no door, I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Snakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death grip of slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astral plane interests, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence, they are feminists, stomped on by elephants, more like more prejudice but want Moorish benefits, when you feel the cold magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book are maleficent, great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence, ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again, use energy right, not put spell effects on men, wandering the earth plane with no veil of shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades, it's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday, war ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense and Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations, or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Greetings, families, royals, nobles, heirs, and heiresses. I go by the name Apache King, the word Apache being an acronym which stands for American Pride through American Civics, History, Education. As some of you may already know, the definition of American is an aboriginal or one of the various copper-colored natives found on the American continent by the European. America is not a nation. America is not a country. America is not a business or someone's private enterprise, which the parasitic, pale-skinned foreign colonists have conquered it and turned it into. America does not have a single flag, as the continent known as America is historically comprised of approximately 35 nations, such as Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Cuba, etc., including what is now referred to as Canada, which carries their own distinct national flags. The United States trading banner, otherwise known as the U.S. flag, is not the American flag.
And the red and white banner that you see with the maple leaf on it, and they say Canadian flag, that's not the Canadian flag. That's a banner for a corporation. That's why, do your research on why people can't use that flag without permission. Because it's trademarked. Why is it trademarked? Because it's private property to modern European corporations. Just like the crown is a trademark. The crown is a trademark of British occupation in indigenous land, Kanata, where they get Canada from. They know what they did. They just didn't tell you what they did. I just wanted to throw that in there. Islam to all the Moors worldwide.
The U.S. trading banner, otherwise known as the U.S. flag, is strictly for the unnatural, pale-skinned, Euro-albinoid European foreigners who were allowed to do trade in North America. North America, also known as the Al-Maraks, otherwise known as the Al-Maghreb Al-Aqsa, which translates into Morocco farthest west. For more historical proof on that, you may refer to the 1789 letter from so-called founding father George Washington to the Sultan of Morocco, in which the non-American pale-skinned Euro-Albion George Washington is actually apologizing for coming up short on the regularly scheduled tributary payments to the Sultan of Morocco, in which George Washington expressly gives thanks for being allowed to conduct commerce within Morocco's dominions.
Morocco's dominions, 1700s. There's no way they're talking about Morocco over there in the 1700s. But they keep making reference to Morocco. Why do they keep making reference to Morocco if there was no Morocco in Africa yet? What are they talking about? Are they dumb? Or do they know more than you know? Because you think you know something. You know jack. Only Moors know stuff. Only Moors study. Everybody else, emotion. So in our studying, we find out that Morocco, the kingdom, was founded in the 1900s. The treaty is talking from the 1700s. So if 1900s is after 1700s, now what Morocco are they talking about? But nah, you don't hear what Moors are saying. You're going to listen to everybody else tell you about Morocco over there, and that's where Morocco is. But if you just use your common sense, you figure this stuff tomorrow. That's why we give honors to Noble Drew Ali. He kept it simple. Told these Moors, think and save yourself. That's all. Nope. People want to tell you about some trust they got. People want to tell you about some package they could sell you. Some card they got over there that they could sell you. Some plate they got over there they could sell you. Passport over there they could sell you. But Noble Drew Ali said, think and save yourself. But they don't want you to listen to that. They want to listen to the guy over there telling them about trademarking birth certificates. They want to tell you about not the Moorish flag with the green star. We want the white flag. We want the orange Moorish flag. We want the polka dot print flag for the Moors. And not deal with what Noble Drew Ali told you. Why do you think he only told you Moorish Empire? Why did he tell you Moroccan Empire? Why did he tell you that your descendants born in America? Because you're in Morocco over here. Over here is Morocco. There's no United States. There's no Canada. Those are fictions. Those are only on a map. That's not the land. The land is Morocco. Maghreb Al-Aqsa. Morocco, the farthest west. Kingdom of Morocco is north. Use your common sense. Because if you don't use your common sense, then you're going to get mad and talk about Moors are condescending, and then you're going to talk about Moors have egos, and then you're going to talk about the European did something to you. No, stop the BS. Pull up your underwear. Put up your pants, do your belt, let's get some stuff done. Stop playing games. You're not children. You're grown people. Use your common sense. You're grown. You're not a child, you're grown. A child knows. Well, hey, if Kingdom of Morocco was founded in 1956, and then this treaty right here from 1700s is saying Morocco. Obviously, Morocco's not over there. Obviously, Morocco's not over there. This is just using your common sense. Nobody really said think and save yourself. We're not going to any books or nothing like that today. All we're dealing with is common sense today. That's all. Just use your common sense.
That particular historical document brings to an end any ridiculous assertions by any non-American, unnatural European parasites that you are in their country.
Oh, you call them parasites. No, they know that they're vampires. What do you mean they don't know? What do you mean they're sending transvestites to teach your children and they don't know that they're the devil? There's transvestites teaching your children right now. We're not talking about some sexual orientation people. We're talking about people who have psychological issues and they don't know what they are. And because of equality and all that stuff, you know what I mean? This guy say he's a refrigerator. No, refrigerator people have rights. The guy just popped up, yeah, I'm a refrigerator. I have rights. Well, you know, we got to give him rights because he said he's a refrigerator. Wait, what kind of nonsense is this? They already know they won because they got the people's mind. They already know they won. And now they got the people's breath because they got their self covered up or whatever like that, breathing in their own stuff they're supposed to be getting rid of. And you're not even realizing that it's people have fashion version masks right now. Do you get what's going on? We're not talking about somebody put a bandana on their face or whatever. We're talking about the stuff that go behind the ears and whatever like that. The mask. You know what I mean? They got black ones, white ones, blue ones. Why? Because they're parasites. Because you can't just come out and tell the people all this stuff is BS. There ain't nothing out here like that. People who died, everybody had some already death smelling issue that they're going to die anyways. They didn't get COVID. And then they just showed you the nurse coming in on the other nurse, shutting off the man's thing because she wrote down that he's unconscious on the paper. And as she's about to flick off the thing, here comes somebody seeing her, which their altercation wakes up the guy. And she was about to murder this man under the guise of some COVID. Some pandemic out there murdering people. Obviously, if they have to go to those lengths to make the numbers look good, something's going on here. Ain't nothing out here. Trust me, nothing's out here. Since last year, when people are talking about, you know what I mean, went to the plantation, all day chilling, children in and out. Can't even get them to social distance. Every day they're coming though. Ain't nobody getting nothing. Nobody getting anything. Nothing. Why? Because of these parasites. Modern Europeans who came into this land and raped and pillaged it. And they're still here today. Their rape and pillage is just your mind now. They don't need the bodies anymore. And if they're really diabolical, forget mind, they're trying to get your soul. And not only they're trying to get their soul, but you're going to give it to them. You better be thinking and not be incompetent right now. Because incompetence is at an all-time high right now. If somebody is going to be by themselves and they're wearing a mask in an open field, just them. You're in an open field by yourself wearing a mask. This is way beyond, you know what I mean, some biological whatever. All this is mental. All this is psychological, because once they get the mind, they got the body. The body's going to do what they put in the mind to do is what the body's going to do. It's not going to be free will. Why? Because of these parasites who just don't want to go home. The ones who say that they came over here from a slave ship. So if you came over here in a slave ship, why are you still over here? Go home. Because you're using up our resources. You're not from here? Fine. Go back to where you came from. Happy Black History Month. And then all the people over there who knew that they sold their own into slavery and brought them over here, all of them should be sending boats to come pick these people up, to bring them back. All right, so now we have some resources for the indigenous people. They don't need to be on reserves and all that stuff. There's foreigners here. And foreigners don't look like they're going home. And then if they stay here, very few of them are going to say, oh yeah, we know who the indigenous people are, and they're going to do everything in their power, including risk their life, to make sure indigenous people don't suffer. Because indigenous people are the foundation of the world. If you don't take care of them, you're done for. You can't have... Anyways, get off my horse.
And for anyone to get out of their country. The Constitution for the United States of America Republic was founded on Muslim law, and George Washington has his own personal copy of the Quran. The United States of America Republic is in a treaty simultaneously with 4 nations of an African Islamic empire. That's Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, and Tripoli, also known as the Barbary Treaties. So what is all of this diversionary, church-sponsored rhetorical hate against Islam and Muslims? Anyway, I will start off by saying shalom to all of my Hebrew, Judaic brothers and sisters. Salaam to all of my Muslim/Islamic brothers and sisters. Namaste to all of my Nepalese/Asian brothers and sisters. Hotep to all of my Kemetic/Kushite brothers and sisters. Rahubat to all of my Nuwaubian brothers and sisters. Halito to all of my Native American brothers and sisters. Que paso to all of my Moorish, Latin-speaking/South American brothers and sisters, and whatever language that you know that equates to peace and greetings. Today is February 14th, 2021, AD on the Gregorian/Julian calendar, which equates to the 8th day, galactic moon, year 1442 AH, on the 13 moon Mayan/Olmec calendar with a Marrakesh year. I am recording this information from the Great Turtle Island, land of the frogs, Atlan, Mulan, Amexem, Al-Marak, Al-Maghreb, Al-Aqsa, Egypt of the West, otherwise known as the continent of Amaruka, Amorica, modernly and contemporarily referred to as America.
Oh yeah, and then because those aren't the names of over here. Oh no, because he put Al-Moroccan there, because he put the name in the list of names that here was called. Yeah, we're gonna claim everything. If he left off Al-Moroccan and all that, play around like this isn't Morocco over here, then we would question some things. Well, we don't question anything at all, because he told us Islam and all that stuff. We don't respond about anybody else who he said hi to. He acknowledged the Moors. He acknowledged the connection of these Europeans to the Moors in this land. And he recognized that this land is land of the Moors, even though he said Turtle Island, which we know an island can't be a continent, so use your common sense. Obviously over here is not Turtle Island. That's a nickname. It's not a name of over here like people call this that. That's a nickname. Because these are continents, not islands. So it can't be called Turtle Island if it's a continent. Just use your common sense.
I'm going to do this short but brief YouTube, which is presented as a video, but is actually all audio and no video. This YouTube is entitled Moors Tame Negress Defense Attorney Natalie Burrell, just like the silly rabbit and manipulative little child that she truly is. Again, the full name of this video is Moors Tame Negress Defense Attorney Natalie Burrell, just like the silly rabbit and manipulative little child that she truly is. I am hoping to do this in one, maybe two parts, but hopefully not much longer than that. If you all are wondering what this video is about, Canaanland Moors just recently put out a video entitled A Defense Attorney Debates Moorish Americans. That defense attorney is none other than Natalie Elizabeth Whittingham, whose surname is now Burrell, as she married the House Negro attorney Brandon Burrell, in which her and her husband will get a copy of this YouTube presentation by email at their attorney firm Burrell Counsel LLC at the listed email address brandon@burrellfirm.com. Natalie Burrell now lives in Washington, D.C. and has previously worked for Berman, Sobin, Gross, Feldman, and Darby, LLP. So let's get right into it. One of the very first things that should be noted is the fact that, according to Cujo L. of Canaanland Moors, Natalie pursued these Moors to come on their platform, as these Moors had no desire to dialogue with her after the first initial conversation with her, in which she fully expressed her views on Moors in America. These Canaanland Moors had already planned to do a show in which they were just going to play the tape of the first initial conversation with this Natalie Burrell, and then they were going to have a discussion among themselves on that material. Natalie Burrell it was Natalie Burrell that reached out to Cujo L and requested to come on his show. This to me shows that this Natalie Burrell had some sort of covert, ulterior motive with the hopes of gaining some sort of victory in favor of the foreign established, de facto, Inquisition and state corporation. First of all, this Natalie Burrell trickstress, as well as her tricked out husband, is an attorney, and which some pronounce as attorner. The root word of attorney is the word and verb attorn, which is A-T-T-O-R-N. The definition of attorn is to turn or transfer homage and service to another as Lord. Again, definition of attorn, which is a root word or attorney, is to turn or transfer homage and service to another as what? Lord. Now, what is homage? Okay, these words are very important, as I'm getting them from a dictionary in which this attorney, Natalie Burrell, they always try to downplay the dictionary, and that's exactly what she did in that presentation. She tried to avoid that dictionary, like a vampire seeing light, which is basically what they are. But anyway, again, the definition of attorn is to turn or transfer homage and service to another as Lord. Well, what is homage? The definition of homage is special honor or respect shown publicly. Another definition of homage is formal public acknowledgement of feudal allegiance. An example given is a man doing homage to his personal lord. So we already see the word feudal as opposed to allodial, in which the root word of feudal is fee, that's F-E-E, which is a tax to the sovereign, who is the king or queen. So an attorney, in a nutshell, is one whose homage and service has been turned over and transferred to as Lord. So an attorney is basically an agency relationship in which one now serves as Lord over another. Now we do know that the word Lord is an English title of nobility such as Duke or Duchess, Knight, Barrister, Count, etc., which are only granted by the King/Queen of England, who are a foreign power to North America. Then, in both definitions of the word homage, you clearly see the words publicly and public, in which we, the natural flesh and blood people with nationalities, according to the Constitution for the United States of America Republic, always absolutely exist in the private and never in the public. Absolutely any reference to the public suggests a conversion, usually by an unknown fraudulent adhesion contract of a person with unalienable private rights and private capacity to a 14th Amendment creature of the law, de facto corporate citizen person, which is a Latin term, ens legis, which is creature of the law. So, tricked out, bubble-headed Natalie Burrell is in fact an agent of a foreign power who came in and conquered North America after the Jesuit-sponsored U.S. Civil War from 1861 to 1865, which is That foreign power being none other than the Queen Albino Vampire Bitch of England, more familiarly known as the British Crown. And we do know that the British Crown serves as the arch treasurer for the Catholic Christian Pope and Vatican of Rome, Italy. This brings us to the actual definition of the word attorney. And that definition is a person appointed to act for another in legal matters. Again, the word attorney is a person appointed to act for another in what? Legal matters. Notice very carefully that the very first definition of attorney makes sure not to say absolutely anything about lawful matters, as attorneys are not at all lawyers, but are most certainly pathological liars. The second definition of attorney says lawyer, but that is just a fake out. The word and concept of legal absolutely only refers to legalese, which is nothing more than legal slickery and legal trickery, and the language of mass deception. Attorneys who are pathological sick liars are only trained in legalese, no different than a dog who has been trained by the sniffing of gunpowder, which makes both the dog trained with the gunpowder and the person trained in legalese equally brutal and deadly to their targets and victims, in which attorneys cunningly refer to their victims as client. But the word client in this case equates to food, as in food for the vampires. This is why in the previously mentioned YouTube video featuring the bubble-headed, tricked-out attorney Natalie Burrell, she remained very cunning and manipulative and made sure to stay within the confines of poisonous, venomous de facto legalese, and made sure that she stood clear and far away from any de jure law. I obviously can go on and on about the cunning, deceptive legalese tactics of tricked out, bubble-headed attorney Natalie Burrell in that particular video with the Moors, as absolutely all British agent attorneys / attorneys do the same exact thing, as their financial livelihood depends on the constant railroading of and blood-sucking on the 14th Amendment legal entity, U.S. so-called Negroes, Blacks, Coloreds, and African Americans. I will allow you all
and African Canadians and Black Canadians and all them too. They're in the soup bowl too.
All to watch the video presentation for yourselves and let you all decide whatever you wish. One other thing that I will now mention is the so-called Moorish brother who immediately spoke out to defend this tricked out, bubble-headed attorney Natalie Burrell, and immediately openly chastised the brothers who spoke on that Canaanland Moor video and platform. This so-called Moor brother, who goes by the name of Rami Salaam has to be some sort of a COINTELPRO agent against the Moors, because this agent suspect has came out openly and threw dirt on Brother Jamal Bey of Rise of the Moors, when Brother Jamal Bey has shown the work of freeing himself of these Inquisitionist courts and British bar attorneys and attorneys, as well as Brother Jamal freeing many countless others, or at least giving advice so they can free themselves. What documented works does this character Rami Salaam have on the record and for the record of saving any Moors and freeing them from the U.S. belly of the beast? Undeclared Moors and declared Moors have long time been kidnapped and abducted and railroaded on Inquisitionist bogus charges and forced to use an attorney/attorney And this strange character named Rami Salaam L jumps out and defends attorney Natalie Burrell. By the way, this Rami Salaam L will also get a copy of this presentation via his email at iamhhtemple@gmail.com, in which he claims to be affiliated with a temple called International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop Temple. That is what the IAMHH stands for in his email. I believe that this character may also have a website. I think I recall seeing a website somewhere. But what the hell is an International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop Temple? I would certainly like to see the mission statement for that organization, as well as exactly how they are structured as far as being incorporated or LLC or 501c3. Because we all know that what Noble Drew Ali had was a affidavit of religious organization. But that is most certainly this International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop Temple is most certainly not what Drew Ali brought to the people. And Noble Drew Ali is not even a founder of the Moorish movement in North America. As in 1898, you had the organization known as the Moorish Zionist Temple of Moorish Jews by the brother Leon Richelieu. So, once again, this brother Rami Salaam L is a suspected agent against the Moors. You also have pale-skinned, non-American crackers out there such as Artie's Corporate Fiction and some trick who goes by the name of Virgo Triad coming at Moors. If you would notice on Canaanland Moors YouTube platform, you have the same pale-skinned devil that continuously comes on the show and tries to spin words and spin reality and history in order to try to validate some sort of bona fide entitlement on this American landmass of aboriginals and copper-colored natives in which he is not nor can ever be. Anyway, I will now begin to conclude this presentation by saying bravo to Canaanland Moors and a job well done, with a big salute to Cujo L, Kush Day, Yusuf L, Jamal Bey, etc. That particular dialogue was highly appropriate and very necessary to bring to the surface all of these House Negro and House Negress attorneys/attorneys, such as Benjamin Crumpcake, Brandon Burrell, Natalie Burrell, etc., which are sucking the life out of our people by railroading them into commercial codes, corporate policy, artificial rules, fictitious regulations, color of law ordinances, Wizard of Oz statutes, etc. Okay, I don't know if many of you have heard, but a 9-year-old natural melanin-rich young sister just recently got handcuffed and sprayed in her eyes with chemical mace by the Nazi Ku Klux Klan Roman soldier pig police, I believe Rochester, New York. Okay, and you expect to convince me that we need a tricked out Negro or Negress attorney/attorney to sell them up the river by telling them to take some sort of a plea deal? And this was blatantly done on redneck Joe Biden's watch, along with his female dog in the yard, freak sorority, Kamala Harris. Okay, where is all of this major positive change for so-called black people in which the Queen of Soul/Soul Sister #1, Kamala Harris, promised to bring? And for those who may have already heard, Donald Skunk has once again been acquitted of any charges surrounding the January 6th act of terrorism in which unnatural redneck non-American white trash stormed the Capitol building looking to kill certain U.S. Congress members and actually left 5 people dead and Capitol Police injured. Okay, this shows that North America is officially lawless right now, and the so-called U.S. government is a fucking joke. Pardon my French. This means that so-called black people have absolutely no protections. Absolutely, let me say that again. This means that so-called black people have absolutely no protections, and absolutely any non-American redneck trailer park white trash that wants to randomly harm them or kill them. Okay, so-called black people are the only true Americans. Okay? If there were melanin-rich people with turbans or fezzes doing that in Capitol Hill, doing that in Washington, D.C., there would have been a neutron bomb, an atomic bomb dropped on Washington, D.C., no matter how many people it killed to stop that immediately. Matter of fact, they would have never even been able to get in the boundaries of District of Columbia. So, in conclusion of this overall video, the pale-skinned Euro-Albion's Christian/criminal world has fallen worldwide, and they can't get it up. The new New Atlantis is rising, and a new golden age of commerce is coming into view, just as it was in ancient times. U.S. so-called Negroes, blacks, coloreds, African Americans are the key to this transition fully taking place and successfully taking place. It's either nationalism or death for the U.S. so-called Negroes, blacks, coloreds, African Americans. There's no more straddling the fence. Fear in divinity or fear in freedom do not or cannot share the same space. It's time for a big throwdown and a real showdown in Motown, which is land of the Moors. You can reach me at email APACHETime555, that's APACHETIME 555 at gmail.com. And until then, I'm out.
So, happy Black History Month. If you thought this Moorish thing and all that, all right, do your thing. But know that you've been told. And that wasn't us talking. That was somebody else talking. Applauding the fact that Moors stood up to these inquisitionists. They have nothing to say. They got their degrees and all that. There are people who they're going to go out and say 10 grand for a lecture. Help whoever do some policy for some whatever. They're getting their 20 grand. So these are reputable people. And they had to yield. Why? Because they know they don't have any jurisdiction. They're officer of the court. And we're in our own land as Aboriginal Indigenous people. What claim does anybody have if we make our claim? Which is why we always go back to Drew Ali, and nobody wants to bring him up. And they got the Moorish thing over there for you to go join and all that stuff. And then they got a little thumbnail picture, blurry picture of Noble Drew Ali on the website talking about, yeah, they're for Moors. They're about the nation. Always have to go back to Noble Drew Ali.
Like we said, you know what I mean? We didn't come out and say somebody's an agent. Someone else in the stands, someone in the stands you never even heard of, just jumped up and yelled that this game was played yesterday. They're playing you guys. Everybody's looking at him like, what are you talking about? Didn't happen yet. Joe Biden's just getting inaugurated right now. Yeah, right. Never bring him up. But it's all right. Because he knows he's the man. There ain't nothing to verify. Why is he the man? Because he's the only one that brought us back to the mindset that we are a nation, for real. And not only are we a nation, but we have a nationality. We're not just claiming we're a nation and throwing up some moon and star and saying we're a nation. Just like the Moor said, why? Okay, they didn't tell us about Noble Drew Ali. How come they didn't tell us about Moorish Zionist Jews? Who was before him, saying that they were Moors? And then Jews back then, that ain't Israel over there. Same thing with Morocco. If they're saying they're Moorish Jews over here, they didn't go over there and say over there is Israel and all that stuff. How come they say how come they're in America? How come there are Jews that look like Negro, black, colored people, but they're in America? And then they're not saying Israel over there. And only if you know to look and research for them would you find them, because they're definitely not telling you about them. You worried about the Moors, they're not telling you about Islamic whatever. There were Moorish Jews. Oh yeah, there were Moorish Jews. And they got the same flag that Moor got, stuff going back 50,000 years. The Moorish Jews of Harlem, 1800s. They ain't getting lynched and all that stuff. How come they weren't getting lynched and all that? How come they weren't getting nigger treatment in the 1800s? How come the Ben Ishmael tribe wasn't getting nigger treatment? How come they were going in the white door and it wasn't an issue? Because they had a status that was not Negro, black, colored. Someone's property. They're free people. But again, like the Moor said, because of colonization, people on our side want to work with the colonists opposed to work with their brother. And it's going to take them. It's going to take them some Fred Hampton movie to know about the traders, but they're not going to do nothing with it. They're going to just play around as if that was just a movie. No, Judas on your side, traitor. That if he's not working with you, he's your enemy. Remember, use your common sense. Remember, no books and all that stuff today. Look up stuff and all that. Moore gave you a couple of definitions, but just use your common sense. Even with the Moor that was in here, saying that you're lost, but you're still here. Why is it that you're still here if you're lost? You're not that lost. Your compass is pointing in some direction. If you said, well, I'm lost. But I'm learning, so I'm just gonna sit here and chill and see what's going on. That's not you. That's not your ego. That's little shock points from the other side, making you stay here and listen, because this is what it's about. It ain't about anything else. There's nothing else that it's about finding out about nationality and how does it apply to you immediately. There ain't nothing else. Everything else is, you're going to be in trouble. And if you don't know, you better be around people who know. And not on some vampirism because you have a European mindset. On some, okay, well, eventually I'm going to have to take this serious. Because it is real. There is a reality. Why would you still be here wanting to learn if you're lost? They make our mind play tricks because we've been taught messed up. So when we see the thing in front of our face, we still don't see it. And the stuff would be in front of our face. Thing would be looking at you. You don't see it. You know, lose your glasses on your head. Up and down, looking all over the place, under stuff. That happened to me one time with a pencil in my ear. Never again that happened, ever again. Never miss what's in your face. Be observant. Look for that pencil. Nightmares. Where's this pencil at? This is in the ear. So we're being sent signals all the time, and we keep missing it. That's why they have us all in the, you know, it's like, you know, the like how the ads pop up on the side, right? That's how you're going to be getting the stuff showing you that, hey, you know, this is about knowing about your Moorish history and all that. This is not about anything else. You know what I mean? And the higher self is going to let you know if it's what it is or not. The higher self is going to let you know. And then things are going to happen, and then you're going to have to sit back and, well, it's now or never. It's either we're going headstrong into this, or let's just turn around and go over here and not even, right? But I make your heart stone, because you can't avoid the obvious. You can't ignore the obvious. Once the obvious is present, you just have to accept that it's the obvious. Don't fight it. When you look at yourself and you see that you're brown, not black, and even calling yourself black, and you're forcing yourself to call yourself black still, call yourself African when you know, well, Africa is a continent, so how can I be a continent? That's not, you know what I mean? And when people say black people and stuff like that, you cringe and all that, and you don't know why. Why is this thing so, why is it so real? And then why do I see everybody else, they got a nationality, and I'm the only dumbass around here calling myself continents and adjectives? Just me. Everybody else, they got nationality. They got some national headwear. They got something they do, dot on their forehead or something like that. They got something that they do that's their stuff, that nobody else is going to do. And then we're over here with you know, Banashi mask on. Here's the countdown. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Know thyself. Islam to all Moors, Islam to all the mothers. It's still early. You might